All right, and we are live. This is Tempo Podcast number episode 6. Well, it's like 6 on YouTube. I don't know how many episodes we technically did when we were on the radio.
I mean, it was like a week for a year. I think
something. I mean, we were there pretty consistently, and they say there was like around 3,000 listeners on that station at any given time. So we had an audience, guys. Like you guys, that are just getting this now. Like you don't understand. Like we had like dedicated. I guarantee there was at least 40 or 30 people that were just tuning in every week just for that. I have no idea if they were just listening because we would just come on randomly. Sometimes depending on the start time. So people would be like, I wonder if people ever noticed. That's what I used to wonder when we would be late, if anyone noticed, like if they got used to us being on at a certain time and they're like,
"No, right?
Man, I wonder what happened to Tempo." Anyway, a lot of stuff. Exactly. Not a lot of stuff happened this week, particularly. I mean, a lot of stuff happened in like the last couple of weeks. Some big stuff happened since the last time we did a show. I guess.
Are you crazy? Like Fox News has been like pay-per-view fighting. It's like watching a pay-per-view.
That's just been politics the last like 4 years.
I've not been so entertained. Like, I'm sorry, it shouldn't be entertaining, but Fox
News, I mean it is literally
really entertaining right now. Did you see the debate about impeaching him? Everybody was so passionate about
the people in the House were absolutely crazy on both sides. It was insane. Actually, so let's get to that. Actually, we were talking about it. So Donald Trump has been impeached for a second time. I think he's the only one to ever be impeached twice.
Yeah, they were talking about that this morning.
That's like having a meeting about getting fired right when you're about to quit.
Right,
kind of. I mean, except that he doesn't want to quit or be fired.
Yep.
And that's why he's being fired now. It's funny. He didn't want to be fired by the American people, so now they're firing him anyway.
Did he get unemployment?
I don't believe the president collects unemployment. I don't think the president pays into it. Although I assume the president does pay taxes.
He gets paid like $200,000 after he's out of office.
Wait, does his not paying taxes as a corporate businessman like switch over to when he's president? Does he just not pay taxes? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so he'll be eligible for the Small Business Association loan.
Oh gosh, dude, did you see how many people were doing like the not the SBA like fraud, but like it was like some like stimulus check like or on the unemployment benefits or something like that?
I was going to start a business just
like some dudes out in California that like became rappers and then like rapped about how they defrauded the system because of COVID, and then they were like got arrested for defrauding the system because of COVID, and they were like,
"Yes,
why did you rap about this in a song, you idiot?" Yeah, I mean, like we missed so much stuff. I was literally looking back at the shows we did like 4 months ago or something like that, but during the middle of the pandemic. The last things that we talked about in the lists too, I was going through as well. But the last title, and this is kind of ominous, and it really ended up being true, was the dissent grows between society or something along those lines. Dissent within society grows, and I was like, wow. Because they were just talking about impeachment back then. It wasn't even fully a thing. Right. Like, that was pre the first impeachment attempt.
This is really a waste of time for the American people. They need to be getting together and trying to figure out raising this stimulus check instead of this another one. They could be doing all the Senate and the House. They're not focusing on anything in the country right now except for impeaching somebody.
Well, I did not know
who doesn't have a job in less than a week. He doesn't have a job in less than a week. You're impeaching to fire him.
What they want to do is they want to make it so he's not able to run again.
Yeah, that's the big thing of the impeachment. The other thing is
get like his retirement money. Basically, they're saying it's up in the air whether or not he'd still have his Secret Service.
He's a billionaire,
but
he doesn't need Secret Service. He can pay for
his own security.
They don't want him to run again, and if he gets if he's labeled as impeached, then he can't run again. So that's the big reason.
He probably wasn't gonna run again anyway. I mean, he's a billionaire. Like, let's think about this. He's a billionaire. You're talking about firing somebody like they even need the job. He owns hotels that the president goes to. Like the president, new Biden got to go to the president. He definitely gonna make sure bed
Well, I
bugs.
mean, hotels that him as the
Hotel
president
room.
goes to. I mean,
Trump gonna make sure bed, but he get.
he's the only reason the president goes to those. Hold on, I mean, he's the only reason the president goes to those hotels because he's the president that goes to those hotels. I mean,
Yeah, but Trump Towers,
see,
nobody Democratic go there. They gonna put bed bugs in their bed for sure.
that's the.
They gonna wake up itching. They gonna be like, I got headlights.
All the companies that have already started saying they're going to stop messing with him, like they've already, like the PGA Tour, he was supposed to host. I think it was 2022. One of his Mar-a-Lago was supposed to host the PGA Tour, the Masters, I think, and they broke ties with him, so now they can't do that. And then like the city of New York,
I'm sure it's a nice golf course too. Really beautiful, but you know,
like he can't even do golfing no more.
Well, it's not he can't golf. They're not holding. They're not the PGA, the Professional Golf Association, which I assume is what it stands for. I've never actually looked into it. I just assume
if I was Donald Trump, I'd be foul. I'd just buy like all the courses.
By the way, I love watching golf. People that discount golf as a sport, it's actually a really fun sport to watch.
I buy all the courses and call them Trump courses. If I was like, if I was in this position, spitefully.
Like literally, just go to every option that they try and buy, and then they try and move to and buy them all, and be like, "No, I told you, you're absolutely not going to be doing this."
You know what? You can't tell me I can't
go. We have the Masters at a Trump golf course this year. I don't care what you try to tell me. We're going to do it,
and then fire them.
Like you
fire the person that wasn't letting you do it. Yep, absolutely. That's a total Trump move.
Fire.
And then like you'd see like there would be conspiracy to, and not that there would be an actual conspiracy, but like they would obviously go out of their way to not sell to him at that point, so that they would be just completely disinvolved. But you know, like it's funny. I didn't even write this down in the notes, and we didn't either. We didn't talk about. I guess before we move on to the stimulus check, we should talk about this since we're talking about the Trump impeachment. So obviously there was, you know, the Capitol raid. Did we talk about that last week? I don't remember. Yeah. Okay, we did. Yeah, because it was on Wednesday, and we had the podcast the next day. What timing? We literally talked about that, by the way, guys. Like on Monday or Tuesday, we did, or Sunday. It wasn't out of the blue. Like we decided ahead of time that we were going to do a show, so it wasn't like that had happened, and we were like, hey, this is the time to come. It just happened to happen that way. Yeah, and you know, we got one view out of it, so there you go. Discounting people that don't actually comment on the videos anyway. But anyway, the potential angry commenter you've been.
Well, maybe the one person that was watching it had 50 people in the room with him.
That's the way you got to think about it. Exactly. That should count as 50 views. YouTube should be able to look at the screen, I should say, and look at the people that are there and count them as no individual views. No, anyway, so my tangent
can't talk too political though, because they're banning people now. Like since Donald
That's
Trump.
what I was getting at, yeah. So I don't have it written down, but they banned all the conservatives, not all of them, but like they banned.
We can't round nobody up.
Everybody that stayed pro-Trump to the end, pretty much, it seems like is going slowly off Twitter. And you know, there's been a lot of assertions made about the people within the crowd. You know, most of them were not, I would say, white supremacists, but I don't know based on the demographic of the crowd. It could have been a mix. Who knows? I definitely know there were certainly some there. I mean, there was Confederate flags. There were people literally saying white supremacist things, you know, like Trump himself is known to be pretty racist, you know, like, I mean, or at least,
I don't know Trump. I've never heard of Trump being a racist. Now, I know he's an asshole, but I don't know about him.
It's easy to hide that. It really is. It's easy to hide that.
He hung around with a lot of black people. I mean, he hung out with P. Diddy, Russell Simmons. You know, these was his partners. These are his friends.
I think you can have a good public image and still be a bad person. I think someone that proves that is Harvey Weinstein, right? Like
I think Donald's more of the green dollar,
like a decade or two. You know,
because Donald talk about white people too. Donald talk about white people too. He calls Sleepy Joe. He be dogging some white people out. The handicapped dude.
Some of the things he says clearly he
doesn't discriminate. It seems like he just discriminates against everybody.
I wouldn't say that.
Or poor people.
Ooh, breaking news. Urban Meyer is now the coach for the Jaguars.
So that's official. Okay, so there was rumors about that. Like, I didn't bring that up as a topic because it wasn't official yet, but I heard about that about a week or two ago.
Oh, speaking of that, you know what else happened too? James Harden got traded to the Nets.
I know.
Oh yeah.
So now it's about to be James Harden,
they gave
Kyrie,
We're
and
just jumping
Durant.
around today. All right.
like. Did you see all the stuff they got for him? They got like 4 first-round draft picks, 4 other.
Yeah, but this was a James Harden wanted out because they couldn't win trade, right? Like,
yeah. I mean,
but the Nets must be.
That's the way I heard
it. Jay-Z on the Nets, though, don't he?
I think a part of it.
Yeah.
Which team was it? There was a team that was like gonna like have problems or something, and then they said, "Nah, we'll buy it so that you can do what you want" or something like that. If the Nets
don't win the championship this year, that was the biggest waste of money in the world. But they still got like a first-round draft pick too.
I don't think you're gonna miss on James Harden, regardless of what you're gonna get your value out of him. It's just whether the rest of the team.
See, James Harden, how's his chemistry gonna be with Kyrie Irving and Durant? You talk about.
I mean, super teams have been built before. I mean, KD and Kyrie are both phenomenal players. So
I mean, Golden State still got a big 3, if you ask me. Steph Curry.
I mean, what can we know? KD can work with other really great players. We've seen him do it before in championship runs. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, so, Kyrie has Kyrie won championships yet? I'm not even sure.
He won one with LeBron at Cleveland.
Yeah, they both. So this team, I think obviously they could all work together if they wanted to. Now the question is Harden able to? Obviously, Harden was able to deal with people.
Harden don't have any titles. That's why
I'm saying it's Harden able to hang with a group like. I guess that's the ultimate question mark, right? Like, will he be able to work with 2 other stars like that?
Yeah, and the
clearly
question
he's able to work with people he doesn't like because he worked with a bunch of people that lost with him for years.
Yeah, so now if AD stay healthy, it's gonna be hard to beat the Lakers, LeBron and AD. But I just don't think nobody's gonna be able to deal with the Nets. Like they shouldn't lose another game once everybody get in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, what it's going to come down to, like with most sports, is it's funny too because the NBA, it's literally James Harden wanted out, so he got out, kind of thing. It's very much a player-run organization, in general. So there's a lot of advantage in that for a guy like Harden. But if his money doesn't get put where his mouth is in this situation, he's going to look like an idiot for not staying where he was because he could make more money to just not win somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like. Because a team that needs a guy like him will pay a stupid it's not like
but you heard what they did to Kyrie.
It's not like what happened to Cleveland where we lose our best player and get completely like fleeced on the trade because we don't really have a choice. We got it.
Did you hear what they did to Kyrie though? They're talking about like suspending him like for the season because somebody got him on camera dancing with his sister at a family gathering.
Yeah.
At a family gathering.
There's so much going on. That's why they're talking about having the bubble again.
Wow.
You heard what LeBron said. LeBron was like, I can't handle that again. He's like, no.
A lot of players said it really messed with them last year.
It does. It messes with your psyche. I mean, you're stuck in there with a whole bunch of other guys. And
there were a couple of Cleveland Indians that broke the quarantine last year. Oh, I should use that name. A couple of Cleveland baseball players that used that. But,
no, they're still for the rest of the year.
I know they still technically. I know they still are the Indians, but I don't know. Something about me already makes me feel uncomfortable saying it. Still, Anyway, I mean, if you go back to last week, hold on, I still have it in here. I didn't even call them the Indians in that. I literally didn't. Back to this, okay. But anyway, yeah, I mean,
that should be just the Cleveland Birds.
I don't know. They're going to come up with some stupid name.
Some broad.
Cleveland.
It's going to end up being Spiders, and everyone's going to hate it. And
look at the StreamYard.
I'm just going to stop watching baseball and be like, you know what, this sport's boring, like everyone else.
Cleveland Ducks.
No. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not going to be happy with. I'll tell you this right now. Regardless of what they choose, I'm probably not going to be happy with it.
Hey, but look, that'll be hard though. Look, quack a home run.
Oh gosh. Anyway, all right. So speaking of bubbles, the NFL is considering a bubble right now. This is a rumor that's been going around ever since the end of the season. Since the beginning of the season. Well, I believe they tried out a bubble for the playoffs, right? Am I crazy?
I was going for the Colts.
No,
maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, I thought so. Maybe I heard some rumors they were going to try it, but anyway, maybe that's the rumor that I heard initially was that, and then it turned into this rumor. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's just rumors right now. Anyway, it's all speculation. But the thought is going to be that because it worked so well for the NBA last year when they were going through the end of their regular season into the playoffs, NBA had I don't know, were there any mess ups post the first like big giant spikes from the NBA?
I don't think they're going to do the bubble. I think most of them are going to take the vaccine.
I don't think there were probably some players that had to miss games, like just like every other sport has had so far.
NFL, by the time the NFL season start back up, people are going to start taking the vaccines, and I'm pretty sure the professional players are going to be the first ones to take the vaccine. So by the time the NFL start back up, all the players probably have taken the vaccine by then.
I don't think so.
I mean, the way they're prioritizing the vaccine right now, it's going to the healthcare workers for something, then to the high risk people, then to
but by the time the NFL starts, that's not till July.
Dude, right, I get you. Probably by then it'll be massively distributed. I just have no idea. The way that it's going out right now, they haven't even gotten it to all the healthcare workers.
You gonna take the vaccine?
Yeah,
man, we are all over the place today. There's no structure to this show, and I love it.
No.
And like you know what the best thing is, we started with a politics story, jumped to like a sports story or something like that. Completely,
they're all tied together.
Briefly touched on one story, completely moved past it, didn't talk about it, and we have like 2 political stories to get back to, and another sports story. This is gonna be awesome. And a movie review at some point we have to figure.
They're all tied together though. Like they're all really tied together because the vaccine is what's gonna make a difference in sports. Because I'm telling you, like they're gonna make some of those people take those vaccines for sports because that is a moneymaker for the season for a lot of restaurants.
I don't think it's gonna be some. I think they're gonna make all the management for sure, and if they can convince the player organizations or the player, like the NFLPA version for the other leagues, and they can convince those people to make the players get the vaccine for the safety of the league and other players and their families.
Yeah,
and if they can convince the NFLPA type organizations, like then it will be a wash because those players, it's a players union, so they're gonna have to do it. You know what I mean? Like so. I mean, they can choose to act against it if they make enough money, but most players don't. So,
I mean, it would make sense in order to have
like most of them don't have the ability to just be like, nah, though. You know what I mean? Like, so,
but it's like you were saying, like Australia didn't open back up. We probably need to just shut down for like a month completely.
Did I even spell vaccine right? I don't know.
No, you didn't win any spelling bees, but yeah, spelled correctly.
No, I mean, I literally was good at spelling when I was younger, and I never did a spelling bee out of like fear that I was going to screw it up. Literally, I was like, it wasn't even like a real fear. I was just like, if I just know that the one thing that I believe that I'm good at as a child, that it's not going to go well.
I went to the spelling bee and lost in the first round every time. I remember the lady told me to spell Tyrannosaurus. I wanted to slap. I wanted to throw my microphone at her. Like, you just embarrassed me.
Sounds like they rigged that, man. I don't know. You had a rigged spelling bee, bro. That's messed up.
Right. Then one time they told me to spell xenophobia. I know how to spell it now because I
feel like I could have figured that one out because of xylophone.
What's xenophobia?
Well, off the top of my head, xenophobia.
Yeah, but I didn't know that when I was little. Like,
I probably didn't either, to be honest.
I'm like, xenophobia. What the? I'm like, I'm in 4th grade. Like, ZENO.
Yeah, like I don't know what I thought about doing spelling bees, but that young me. I don't know. I was kind of a savant with spelling at that age, but I have no idea. I'm not joking. Like I read at a very high level when I was younger, and like it's something I take a little bit of pride in because like I don't read enough now, but if I did, I probably could burn through books all the time. That's why I reread the same books. I don't want to start anything new because I always reread the same thing a million times, and it's like, I know it's rotting my brain at some point. It's going back. It goes back the other way. It's like, you've read this too many times.
I used to read a lot of comic books. Like I still got all the comic books. Like
comic books.
Yeah, comic books. I still got the Infinity War. Like I have the Infinity War.
What do I have? I've bought one comic book in my life. It is the lamest comic book you could possibly buy. I really liked the character of Poe Dameron in The Force Awakens, so I went to Comic-Con and I bought a Poe Dameron #1. That was cool.
I always buy Marvel, not DC. And I see you got up to 84, that Wonder Woman movie.
I have a bunch of classic. Do you want to make this a quick segment? Hold on, before we do the Wonder Woman, do you want to make this? I have a bunch of classic comics, literally like feet away from me right now. That's not even a joke. Like I want to make this a thing.
I got some comic books too.
Dude, all right, hold on. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get to them easily. If I can't, we will work on this for a future episode. Which that may be the way to do this. But this may be. Give me 1 second, and I will be right back. Just talk for a second, guys, and I'll see if I can get to them easily. If I can,
I'll show you one hardcore comic book.
If not, I'll grab the Pro comic because I think I know where that is. I think I know where that is. I don't know. I'll grab something at the very least. Like I'll show off.
Look, since we're on Wonder Woman, I'll show you something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. While he's grabbing that, actually, I'll go ahead and still talk with you, Tony. So it's not just you by yourself. But once he gets back, I'll go ahead and look because I have. When I say I have some really cool classic comics, I have some really cool ones. Like my dad. Technically, they're on loan from him right now, but when he dies, all his comics are gonna be mine. So it's one of those things where he has all these old school ass ones.
That's true.
I don't even know off the top of my head how to describe. Like, it's a bunch of really, really old stuff, but like it's mostly from like the 80s to 90s. So it's not really old, but it's like that era of comics when they were going a lot gorier with it. That silver era of comics when they wanted to make things a little less like. Hold on. Didn't unmute myself there. Anyway, so like that where they were going from that more traditional golden age, like what you see, like that's the big depiction. Like if you saw the movie Shazam, that's what that feels like to me, is like a golden age comic where everything is perfect and genuine, and like the morality scale was very different back in the 40s and 50s when the first comic books were coming out.
Right.
Bam.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. All right, give me 1 second. I'll see if I can get something.
Death of Superman.
I'm sure I could at least get something. I just don't know what it'll be. So we're about to find out.
The real deal, Holyfield.
You probably still hear me rustling stuff over here. Let me mute that.
Like a lot of people don't know about this comic book, but yes, it's completely different. It's brutal. They breaking bats, and it wasn't even Wonder Woman that helped him. It was Superwoman.
Well, that's his cousin, so.
Let's show you some of these. Like in this book, I don't even know what year this came out. This came out in like 90 something. Maybe 94, 95. Let me tell you. Oh, it came out in 92. Look. 1992. This is an old book right here. This is a classic. You know how much this is probably worth? This is all the Death of the Superman comic books put together. Like all of these.
So I can't get to them easily right now.
This is a special edition for the Death of Superman. This is a special edition. So it has all these comic books. Like all the ones that he did inside of this one book.
I really wish I could get to those easily. I have. Okay, so the cool one I have. So you have Death of Superman. I have the other big one, which is the Broken Bat. I have
this was $5 in 1992
by Bane. The whole story in The Dark Knight Rises, which for some reason they put in the movie where it's about. I love DC comic movies. They're great, but like the way they name themselves.
They're cheesy though. Let me put this up real quick for somebody to do.
I wasn't able to get any of the classic ones, unfortunately. They're just, I don't want to spend 20 minutes trying to dig them out for the show and then end up taking up the whole show. I did grab the one that I bought at the comic convention though. So this is the Podium Run comic I was talking about. It's the only comic I've ever personally bought.
What does that look like? The Mighty Ducks?
It's Podium Run, from Star Wars. Anyway,
but look,
DC, cool guy played
DC
by
movies are dark though. They're so dark. Like Deadpool said.
Well, here's the thing about, and that's what I was talking about.
He was like,
a lot of the ones that I have are from the Silver Age, where everything was super gory and messed up. Like I have some classic TMNT, like with Japanese and stuff in it, and it's like probably like the Japanese variant of the comic or something like that. Because they sell a lot of this stuff overseas as well. Gosh, I wish I could get some of the stuff. I have like some classic Batman and Robin stuff in there. But like I said, that Broken Bat one, that's the cool one where Batman gets his butt back broken by Bane, because they're a very key moment in the character's history. It's not long after that Batman gets killed, I think. Like, and that's or almost gets killed. Like I don't know. Here's the thing about DC Comics: every character has died and been brought back at least once, maybe multiple times at this point. So
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so we did comic stuff a little bit. So Wonder Woman, I
fell asleep and woke up in the middle of the movie. I had to keep fast forwarding it back to where I fell asleep at.
It really wasn't as exciting as I expected it to be.
It's unfortunate too, because this is a film that I really wanted to like.
I was too.
The first one was good.
Yeah, no, the first one was awesome, and we watched it Christmas Day. Me and my girlfriend. and there were times like we were both like, I have to watch the whole thing, but
it was brutal. I watched it at, what was it, 3 a.m. the night before, whatever, when it came out. Whenever it came out, exactly when it came out, I forget. Whenever you could watch it, me and my friend.
It was Christmas time.
But it makes sense to me though, like that Make-A-Wish dude.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, what is what?
So are we doing spoilers or no spoilers? Because this is technically a film that you have to buy by getting Wonder Woman. I mean, I don't know what we're doing.
If you ain't watched it by now, it don't matter anyway.
Yeah, but
it's not even spoiled.
I mean, some people aren't able to see movies right now because
you can see it on YouTube or a Fire Stick. They got the clear version out.
I mean, they put it out on HBO Max for the month, so you can watch it there, and then it's in the theater. So,
but it was really like boring. I mean, then when the end is so confusing, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I had to watch it over.
I mean, I like Cheetah's character.
I can't believe you watched it again.
Cheetah girl. I had to fast forward to where I fell asleep. The beginning, I was totally asleep. I'm confused. Like, what does she wish somebody to come back? You know.
And it wasn't even like they made the wish consciously. Like it was like they were just holding it, and like something happened.
They made a mess out of that character, man. Let me. Okay, so let's just say screw it on the spoilers. Here's why they screwed up that character. They made her powers associated with the wish. So, like, unless you're telling me that character is just literally not going to exist in the DC universe after this point, then like. Literally, I don't know why you did. You could have made her powers separate. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That dude's name was The Wish.
No, I don't know. Pedro Pascal's.
What's his comic book name?
He's not based on any actual characters that I'm aware of.
That was a trash character. Who'd have thought of that's the dumbest? That's like Lady Luck on Deadpool.
I mean, he's kind of like the generic villain they have in Iron Man, right? Just the evil businessman. I thought, here's what I will say about Pedro Pascal's character. I really actually did like the character. I just think he's completely mishandled in the movie. I feel like they just don't know what to do with that. I think what they did was they really fell in love with the idea of him becoming like God, basically, right? But they couldn't like figure out what they actually wanted to do with that, because you can go two ways with it. You can accidentally go too Bruce Almighty with it, and then it's too comedic and it's not as funny. I think that's where they ended up landing, unfortunately. With a lot of the stuff, it felt funny when it wasn't supposed to be, you know, the way he was doing things, and maybe that was intended. I don't know.
I thought it was funny. I don't know. Like,
when he would be like doing things with his powers, when it would be unintentionally funny sometimes,
right?
Like when he accidentally created like an actual like kind of racist moment and unintentionally with despite being a minority, like, you know, like where he like puts all the Muslims inside a wall, literally, you know what I mean? Like because they want it, because like presumably like we haven't even talked about that. That's one of the big things with this movie is a controversy to do with racism and other like issues and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it was racism. It was the one guy who wished like that this would happen, and he was one of them. Like. So
well, like I think that the problem with that stuff, like a lot of Muslim people had, I think, a problem with that because of the way it made their culture look. Because obviously we've been portraying them like that in our films for a long time, you know. And the other thing, I think the other one that I saw, there was some other stuff in there, but like I can't specifically remember it off the top of my head. I remember hearing like right after the film came out.
They didn't have a lot of. They just didn't have a lot of. DC is just not Marvel.
No, definitely not.
On the film side.
The only boring.
We've talked about this before. DC's comics are better.
The only boring Marvel movie is Iron Man 3. That was boring as hell.
Yeah, I liked Iron Man 3, but
you did.
Give Iron Man 3 a second watch. It's actually way better than you remember.
That's when he brought out.
It's just not as good as other Iron Man movies, even. But it's something else. It's a Shane Black movie, is what it is. It's not really an MCU movie, but it features MCU characters, so it's interesting. It is, but I mean, it actually is obviously canonly. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't feel like one. I'm honestly done talking about this film. I thought I'd want to do like a long-term review, but it just frustrates me to no end the more we talk about it, because like,
only thing that's good about it is she looked good.
I mean, Gal always looks great. I think that was another one of the controversies was the outfit again, of course. Whatever, I don't know.
So what about the news? As far as movies go, like Netflix already said They're gonna.
I didn't want to comment on. What did you guys think about Linda Carter showing up at the end?
Oh, that was awesome.
I was like impressed by that move, and I was like kind of disappointed though because you probably won't reprise that role.
Who's Linda Carter?
Because the original Wonder Woman.
Oh, they did show the original Wonder Woman at the end.
Yeah, at the very end of the post-credit scene. Again, I don't care about spoilers for this film. If you have it, don't see this film. How about that? That's my recommendation.
If you see it, make sure you had plenty of sleep.
Yeah.
No, just sleep during the movie. You won't need to worry about it. If you haven't had sleep, flip this movie on. You'll have no problem. Anyway, the scathing review here, and I'm usually a DC apologist. Like you've listened to me you've sat here and listened to me defend Man of Steel and other films that aren't really that great overall. I can't. There's nothing to redeem in this film.
No.
Yeah, and when I do my other review for this film, it's going to sound completely different, but it's going to be awesome anyway. So yeah, I do have a different YouTube channel that I work with, and I generally have different opinions on there. I don't know. I like to make a difference, so if someone finds the videos of me, they can be like, "Why does this guy change his opinion all the time?" And I can be like, "I don't know what you're talking about. It's two different guys." Like, have you ever seen me and the guy from that with the same name in the same place? I didn't think so. Anyway,
my daughter just called me, texted me, and said she got accepted in the LSU.
Nice. Congrats.
Okay. Transition. All right. So theaters and schools opening. So speaking of LSU, I mean, what about the campus? Like, how would you feel about being on a campus right now? I feel like that's the one thing if I was still going to college that I would want to try and do as much.
Well, you know, they're opening schools up this week, aren't they? On the 19th, or no? They opening January 19th.
I haven't been following. I guess
January 19th. Kids go back to school.
Okay, were all kids back out of school, or was it just? I thought that the whole plan this year anyway was to have them partially in school and out of school anyway. Not all of them, but like some doing one.
Right now they're all working from home, but they're about to. I think January 19th they're all supposed to start going back to the schools.
Is there an argument to be made that we should just keep them learning from home because most of them are probably going to end up working from home anyway?
You know,
I mean, at this point, right? How many of these companies are going to be like, "We've uncorked this bottle. Let's put it back on"?
I mean, again, like where we work, I would only say if we do, it's because they still have a lease on the building.
Yeah, I think we still have that for like a few more years. So we would run out of that lease probably with as minimal people in it as possible to reduce the cost of electricity and such.
We're like us, you know, that do the non-verbal communications with customers. I would say we'll probably be at home for the long haul.
Unless they may give people the opportunity. I have a feeling it's probably going to work. This is a little specific to our workplace, but I have a feeling it's probably going to work like how I did before, just with individual departments only limited to so many people they can have.
Yeah.
So like maybe only 10 people from chat and 5 people from phones.
Again,
or some finite number that if this many people say, it doesn't matter what department you're in really, because they can space you out well enough. I mean, we're talking like maybe 30% of our workforce, if anything, is probably going to, if they even go back, which they may not. They may just be like, actually, we're going to get you all really good equipment and you're going to work from home forever. You know, like, because that's the only thing that I requested. If we're going to do that, like, I can't do that on the same equipment.
I don't want to go back to work.
I do. I miss being in office.
I miss people. Like, I really do. It really does kill me not to be in office. It really does. Like,
I need the structure back in my life. I need to be able to separate. Yeah. I sit at the same desk that I'm recording this podcast at right now.
Me too.
And I sit here and I game and I work and then I game again and then I work again and then sometimes I sleep over on my bed that's literally 2 feet behind. You can see the bed right here. Yeah, I literally am. This is my first time in my bed. I'm literally
I work. And on the weekends, I go out selling the little products we be making, like the ashtrays, charms. You know, we be making these things right here.
Yep.
Like these little charms, we be selling these for like $10.
The light is too bright.
It is too bright. I can't make it.
I don't think it's gonna show up.
But you can't see. You can see how it's shaped though.
You can see a little bit there. It can a little bit. All right, so
there you go.
I don't know how long. We've been going for about 34 minutes.
I'm
not rushing us or anything. I do want to get to some of the other topics, though.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of cut the review short as well, because I don't think any of us really care about that movie enough to like. If it was really great, I would spend like 20 minutes on it. But like,
nobody cares.
You know what is really great, though? You know what is really great, though? Is this real? What is happening, guys?
I knew that was going to happen.
The Cleveland Browns are in the divisional round. The Pittsburgh Steelers have collapsed completely after starting out 11-0 or whatever it was. They lost like 5 in a row. Finally got it back to 12-5 or something like that. And what a team!
But look, the games they won, they barely won or no?
Yeah, that is true too.
They definitely were floundering at the end, but I think it was still pretty much assumed that they would beat Cleveland just because of history. But it seems Juju Smith-Schuster can do nothing but curse his team at this point.
Yeah,
they need to put a muzzle.
The Steelers,
Antonio Brown ruined that kid's ability to communicate.
Turnovers. If the Steelers would have been 1 turnover short, they probably would have won. Because they still
think about it. I don't want to blame Antonio Brown unnecessarily, but you wonder why he's suddenly like this when Juju was probably just a normal kid before he came into that system.
Well, Antonio Brown living good in Tampa Bay with Brady,
right? That's what you're saying. Like maybe all that money that I'm sure Antonio Brown's not making right now that he's made over the years, he should be like, "Hey, Juju, I'm sorry that I like ruined your life." You know, like. Like you all are in the playoffs now. You probably would be with me, you know. I mean, think about that. If he was there instead of with Tom, I mean, Tom's in the playoffs. I mean, anyway. No.
Yes, Brown.
Tampa.
So now we play Kansas City, which how can they get worse? You know what I mean? Like,
but here's the thing: if they beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, there's absolutely no reason why they can't win. The conference championship at that point.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, and again, I'm not putting it past them, but I'm still like, it is Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
that's big wishful thinking. I think.
I
don't know. If they play Kansas City like they played the Steelers,
no.
I'd be interested to see if Texas Tech, I think it's Texas Tech that Patrick Mahomes played for, and whichever school it was anyway. I wanted to see if I wonder if their schools ever played in college because obviously Mahomes wasn't as well known back then. Although they knew he was that good, they just didn't know that he would ever. With guys like that, when they're not in big schools, you just wonder if they'll ever translate. You know, why weren't they noticed by the bigger schools? Is always the question, right? And other things, obviously, but he ended up being like the craziest. Best passer of all time, apparently. Like how I'm gonna say something bold that's never probably been said about Mahomes. I mean, they've already called him like the greatest of all time, but like I would say like how we call Steph the greatest shooter of all time, despite him, he'll get there with the stats eventually. He just hasn't yet. He's getting pretty close though.
Steph is underrated.
But what I'm saying, like, that's what people call him that now, even though he hasn't statistically gotten there. I'm going to say that about Mahomes. They're going to be the best statistical passer of all time. It could still not happen for him. He gets another catastrophic injury, whatever. But I think it's possible that if he continues on this trajectory, that he might be the biggest,
look how
he may shatter 80,000 yards completely.
You know what I mean? About how good you are. Steph Curry with Klay Thompson and Javon Green won 2 back-to-back championships.
Almost 3, right? Because
but Cleveland came back on that one, and that's only because Draymond got suspended like the last 4 games.
That was the last time I think that was the last time I remember being a fan of the Cavaliers. Like I was never really a fan of them, but I would remember them being in the playoffs and being like, I kind of hope they win.
Well, it happened for a couple of years. I mean, how many years was it where it was Cleveland and it
was a couple of years in a row, and most of them were won by Golden State.
People was outside shooting. I was like,
that series of series which is a weird way to phrase that, made Steph's career basically, and cemented LeBron's, really, if you're being honest.
Yep, but the Cleveland Browns, I don't know, because the Baltimore Ravens. This is a really good playoff right here.
Yeah,
you got Green Bay in there. You got. You got some really interesting teams in there this year. I
think Green Bay is going to the Super Bowl regardless.
You think?
Yes, I have a feeling. MVP Aaron Rodgers is not being stopped.
I don't know. I think they're gonna choke. Like who Green Bay supposed to play? I forgot. It's a good playoff. Every game is good. Like this weekend.
Games, hold on.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get anything incorrect. Apologies to anybody that's like, why do you not know this off the top of your head? I do, but I don't want to get it incorrect. I literally eat, breathe, and live sports outside of. I literally okay. Hold on. Let me.
Oh, the Rams.
Before I search this, let me just say something really quickly. I literally spend more time playing sports games than you do thinking about sports, probably. Yeah, so right. I'm just gonna go ahead and take that for what it's worth. It's a video game, I get it. But
so the Packers play the Rams.
But like I spend more hours watching tape than you do watching sports. Like I'm not even joking. Like
this
you may watch all the sports, but I still watch more hours of tape than you do hours of sports because me and my friends do this all the time. Okay, again, I'm gonna make another point. I knew the top 15 to 20 hockey draft picks this year.
Right.
Do you even care about the 20th hockey year? No, you don't care about the 20th draft. They're never going to do anything. They're going to sit in some system for 3 years and literally do nothing. Anyway, and we're going to look up the games now. Sorry, let's change it here. Sports. It's so hard to do on the internet because like there's so much scrutiny, like anyway, I had a bad experience once where I didn't know a thing. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so playoff games, and the funny thing about this is they were weird the way they ended up working out. So the Packers are playing the Rams, so that's going to be not good for the Rams. The Bucks and the Saints. So that's literally a divisional matchup, technically speaking. I mean, they're in the same division. You know what I mean? Like, jokes, but no. And then you have Browns, Chiefs, and Ravens, Bills. So those are all really good games. I mean,
I'm really thinking the Bills might go all the way.
They could. This is another. I mean, look, it's like
you think
the three MVP candidates right now. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers without a doubt, but it's Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. It's not even a question. Those three guys had the absolute best season.
Oh yeah,
Bills quarterback.
I don't pay no attention to the Bills.
You should. They're champions of the AFC East this year. The Patriots. Yeah. Anyway. We had a comment.
They barely beat the Colts.
We're gonna go ahead and just.
They barely beat the Colts.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just saw a comment that I had to block somebody really quickly. Sorry about that.
I had to say it. I feel like I don't know why. I just feel like the Saints are gonna make it.
I don't know. I mean, you think they're gonna get past Tom Brady?
I think whoever wins this next game, like between the Bucks and the Saints, is who's going.
I mean, I think there's a good chance of that. I think that if the Saints were to win, I think they have less chance of beating the Packers than Tampa Bay does. But
I'm really glad that the Rams are playing the Packers.
The funny thing is, all three teams are looking for that elusive next win for their QB. You know what I mean? Like, so Drew Brees is trying to solidify his legacy in his last season. Which, by the way, we didn't even talk about that. Drew Brees is not going to probably be playing football after this year.
You think?
He said so.
It was
He literally said so recently. He literally said, "Yeah, this is going to be it."
Regardless. It was sad to see the Rams against the Bills, though. Yeah,
that would be the worst. Well, no, the worst combination would be. Hold on, here's your worst combination for you. Would be, I guess, Ravens, maybe Ravens, Rams, because the Ravens kind of suck this year.
I like the Ravens,
but of all the teams left, they're like the two worst for sure.
Yeah,
you think so?
Yeah,
it's the way things worked out this year. Yeah, I don't know what the Ravens' record ended up being, but there was the question about them making the playoffs.
They did good. You didn't see the Ravens play last week.
Oh, I know they played good last week. Actually, that was the big joke made that Lamar finally found his playoff legs. Like, if
it weren't for Lamar, they would have lost.
Because he had a back-to-back playoff losses or whatever, something like that.
Him run that ball, man. He ran it thing from
I mean, that's what he does really super well, right? That's what they joked about last year was he's a running back, But okay, we have some more topics to get to. What else did we miss? And we kind of talked about this a little bit. I made a little joke title. I thought I'd share the title that I made at least. Let's check 2 Stim Harder. I think that's it. Anything else?
Stimulus check 3? We looking for 3.
Dude, that's Stimulus check 3. Good day to Stim Hard. I don't know. Anyway, I gotta come up with something better than I was gonna do Stimulus 2 Electric Boogaloo, but then there was the Electric Boogaloo Or not Electric Boogaloo. They made that.
Right. We're not going
made
to
all those references to the
They're
civil
trying to
war.
avoid this. They're trying to make everybody forget about that by impeaching Trump. Like, why?
Biden announced at 7:00. He announced his
Oh yeah, he's doing like the $1,400 to make it equal out to the 2,000 or whatever.
Be sent to
I
me.
don't know. I got mine today. I'm not even joking. Like an hour or two before we got on for this, I got my stimulus check in the mail.
Yeah.
It's
Buy an Oculus too.
Oh,
that's for $600.
No, I actually know what I'm looking at the Quest, and it's like it's a much more expensive investment than that. I was looking even to just get into that. I had to buy a new laptop, and so it's like a $2,000 investment.
Oh, it's a new one. You don't need a PC.
I would want one that's hooked up to a PC so that I could see. This is the thing. I want to. Okay, so I want a VR headset, but I don't have the adequate space or the funding.
Yeah, that's the problem too.
I need to have my own place, and then like have a room that's like just an office that I can just convert into a VR room, basically. Because that's the thing. If you want to do effective VR, you have to have just a dedicated room for it, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, buying somebody, the first thing you're gonna do in office is send another check.
Yeah, it's $1,400.
Yep.
To make up for the $1,400 that for some reason the Republicans didn't think anyone deserved. Well, let's talk about that since we're talking about this.
When is that $1,400 supposed to
talk
come?
about listening to them argue about the impeachment, right, Phil? Did either of you guys hear them arguing? Like the Republicans sit there and tell you why you didn't deserve more than 600 and why you didn't deserve 600 to begin with? Like. I listened to like 20 or 30 minutes of footage of like Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul talking about how we didn't deserve money because we hadn't earned it, basically. Despite it being an economic crisis right now, like I can tell you, I wasn't doing great when I was working part-time during the pandemic. I did not have a lot of money for a good amount. I was making, I'll be honest, I had $400 to my name a week, a couple times. Yeah. Not great. And that was on working my full hours and everything. I just didn't get very many hours because they didn't have anything to give me, because everyone else had the money they need to make too, I
don't make nowhere near that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
No, 400 every 2 weeks?
Oh, no, you said every week. I'm like, God, 400 a week.
No. That was my 2-week check. $400 or $500.
Like, damn, that's good. Like,
no. That was my for my half month, if you will.
Yeah.
$400. Wasn't ideal. I mean, thankfully, I don't have any. I've talked about this before. I don't have any responsibilities, so it was fine.
Yeah,
but it still wasn't a lot. It still wasn't a lot of money when you have certain habits and stuff like that. So it's like,
child support. I'm cashing out.
Oh my gosh! I wonder how many stimulus checks are being converted straight into child support. I shouldn't say that. Anyway,
mine's gonna be converted to child support. I need that. I got 3 kids' birthday in February.
See, here's the thing, too, right? The other thing is like
1st, 9th, 11th. And Valentine's Day, I got a girlfriend, so it's like
you messed up.
So I want so just to end the show, here's a lovely thought for all of you to have. So. There was I'm not going to go into the number. I'm not sure that I should, but there was a lot of lost packages this past holiday. In general speaking, for all companies, I think. Yep. I just wonder what the total number is. Like, if we could ever get a quantified number for across the board, how many were lost during the pandemic? Not just the porch piracy, which is my new way to refer to it, but YAR. But anyway, but I think also too, just like. And it just happens more because more packages are being sent.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. It's probably in the millions, I would imagine, over the course of the last 9 months. Because it just who knows? You lose I would say probably about 20 to 30,000 a year anyway, just randomly. And just, that's just a made up number, but I just based on what I see all the time, it's pretty frequent. It's just not and I wish people understood that more. Losing packages is something that happens way more often than we would like to admit, but it does. It's unfortunate, but it's something that we have unless the company you're buying it from literally ships it to you, there's not a lot they can do, unless they're really nice to you, I wish people understood that more though, but we're right at around where we ended it last week. If you guys are ready you're all good to end this show. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna be honest. This week back from work, I only worked 2 days, but it's the most exhausting 2 days of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I've been sitting here since 9:00 this morning in this same spot. I'm starting to get an ad sore. I'm finna get up and stand on the toilet and probably just drive to the store to just go get more gas, even though I don't need none. Just
I wonder if the pandemic caused hemorrhoid cream to go through like a big stock increase, right? Because people have been sitting for hours and hours. I haven't had any problems because I sit in a comfortable chair, but
I moved my car in 2 weeks.
Oh, by the way, Tony, the chair that you gave me forever ago finally crapped out on me, and I had to buy a new one. Yeah, that's why I ended up getting a new chair. I have a completely separate chair now. Yep.
Oh, nice.
I bought a gaming chair finally, but yeah.
I got one I got to put together. I bought it. They had one for like $100 at Costco, so I got that. I got to put it together though, but it's supposed to give a little.
Spent like $80 on this or something like that. I don't know. I just went on Amazon and looked at gaming chair, and I was like, "This looks fine."
So
this looks like what I'm looking for.
So now you quit smoking. I'm taking the non-smoking challenge today.
Oh yeah.
Now tomorrow's gonna be my last day because we got a date tomorrow. Like, and I know I'm gonna eat, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try to quit. I'm going. What did you do?
I went on drugs. So
that's to be fair. That's some. You know, I've
drugs.
Oh, true. I've heard that
infomercial is like if you feel any itching, if you feel thoughts of suicide or and dementia or freezing for
stop. Yeah, it's weird when they have an antidepressant medication that they're just like. By the way, this also works for helping to quit smoking. People that were depressed also stopped smoking at the same time.
And that's exactly what happened. That's how they came up with that. So, yep.
Yeah, weird.
And like I said, fireballs. Like I have.
Well, if you tell them that it helps them to quit smoking, it's not a side effect.
Fireballs, right?
Yeah. It's like, they'd be like, do not.
I see some people do the gum, like the nicotine gum. I have no idea how that would be. I imagine it would taste disgusting.
And I bet that shit gonna make your teeth fall out.
Not good.
You're gonna chew the gum. You're gonna chew the gum. Your teeth just gonna fall out. You're like, damn.
Gets oral cancer from nicotine gum. Wait, what was the point? No, but anyway, no, but all right, I gotta end the show before I make a really offensive joke. That's and I get us all canceled. All right.
You don't know when I pick. Let me get on here. Every sentence is gonna have a cuss word in it. I'm gonna be like, shh.
Yeah. All right. Good night, and we'll see y'all next week.
For sure. And this has been Tempo. Can you keep up?
Can you?